Lately, I've been wondering if dating in your early 20s is even worth it, because I think as a guy, it feels like the expectations just keep rising, and sometimes as a guy, you never really feel enough to meet these expectations. Now, a post here described this pretty well. It says, advice is dating as a 17-year-old guy. I hit the gym, I have good facial potential, I just need to wait until my hair grows longer for some time in the gym. But I've been rejected. The girls on Instagram have so many options, but I'm here flooded with self-doubts, black pill, and mental health shit. I've missed many dates. I work on myself. The grind gets lonely. What should I do? So I can relate a lot to this because I think what I am finding is that, first of all, there's two things you can do in this situation. You can either complain and completely check out, which a lot of guys, not even just early 20s, but I'm seeing tons of stuff online where guys are just completely checking out of dating and stuff, and they're saying, look, it's just not going to happen. And the other side is actually trying to do something about it. Now, for me, what I will sort of say is I find that, yeah, okay, maybe at the moment it feels like there's lots of expectations for guys to meet. And I would say that that has definitely been on the increase, right? And I think that hasn't helped with things like social media and such. However, what I will say is what I've been doing, first of all, is just focusing on what you can control, right? So that being developing yourself. Now, yeah, I know, right? Obviously, the whole idea of, just working yourself, just build yourself up. And that isn't going to fix everything. But I know what I find is a lot of people will get into relationships for the wrong reasons. A lot of people might get into relationships for the validation of someone else, right? To rely on someone else or to have someone else that they can rely on. However, if you get into that reason, then obviously you're into the relationship for all the wrong reasons. However, obviously, if you build yourself up, and that's not just necessarily financially, but just, having a better self image, having more self respect for yourself, that sort of stuff is really just going to help you feel a lot better as a day to day person. I mean, for me, I haven't dated in a good few years. And at the moment, I'm pretty happy with the sort of the piece that I've got at the moment. I've just been, working on myself and obviously, working on creative projects, and that's been cool for me. Right now, what I will say as well is what I'm also considering doing is basically trying to put myself in a position where eventually I can perhaps just leave the West and travel outside of the West, right? And I think my current thoughts is actually potentially looking for a partner outside of the West. Right now, whether it's the case that I find a partner outside of the West and then, I don't know, bring them back or whatever, I don't know. But I just feel that as a guy at the moment, there just does feel like a lot of expectations to me. It does just feel, and I mean, I can see tons of stuff on YouTube, on Reddit, everywhere of guys just effectively mentally checking out. And, me as someone who is 21 years old and who is obviously, more so getting into, I guess, the dating world. And I know obviously lots of other guys as well. I think just looking at all this content does make me feel a bit, unsure, maybe a bit anxious in the sense of, well, what am I to expect? And I see lots of stuff of guys saying, oh, like, I don't want to have children. I don't want to, do do all this stuff. I don't want to do marriage. And at the end of the day, I think like there is always a bit of truth that comes from from everything that is said there. But at the same time, I think it's like, look, you can either worry, complain about it, maybe just entirely check out and miss out on the experience you want, or you can work on yourself, actually do things that are meaningful to you, right? Actually be in a position where you are happy for yourself, right? I know for me, it's like I, at the moment, have gone from a position where I was pretty unhappy with myself, spending time with myself, and felt like I needed loads of other people in order to feel that happiness and accomplishment, to now where I'm pretty happy with, being by myself and having that peace, right? And I think as a guy, we all really do appreciate being able to have that peace, be able to, maybe switch off and such. And so then it comes the question of, okay, well, now if I look for a partner, all of a sudden I'm not trying to fill this void. I'm not trying to, it's more just something that can complement me as opposed to something that can replace a very big part of me. So I guess really with this video, all I'm just trying to say is that if you are a young guy or even just, perhaps a guy in your 30s or something, who are just unsure about the dating world and what to really do. Obviously, this is just stuff from my experience. I think a lot of it is just, first of all, feel comfortable and just happy and at peace with yourself, right? And this isn't some spiritual stuff either. Like, actually just working on yourself to the point where you do feel like that, such as being able to look in the mirror and feel happy with what you see. That's a big one, right? I know I had to, I mean, I've been working out since, the beginning of lockdown, for years. So it took a long time for me to get to that point. And, be able to actually work on things meaningful to you, having a sense of direction, right? That's the sort of stuff, because I think for me, I'm now in a position where, look, if I'm looking towards sort of, getting into dating, I know that it's not my focus, it's not my priority. It's still something that's going to be important, but it's not the priority. I think that makes a big shift, because then it means, look, if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world, because I'm focused on things more important. But I'd really be curious to know what your thoughts and experiences are on this topic. But that said, hope you've liked this video, and I'll chat soon.